He just latches onto my knee. The bite strength is so strong, I could hear bones shatter instantly.
Lucas Arsenault has a stunning story of survival.
I was at the point where I could not breathe, everything's dry, I could taste blood.
A professional kiteboarder who lost his leg after he was attacked by a shark while snorkeling.
I realized quickly that I shouldn't have survived that.
He's now determined to do what once seemed impossible, get back on his board, though the journey hasn't been easy.
There's some dark times, and you go through waves of, realizations that, hey, I'll never do something this way again. That was ugly.
Movement, once effortless, now requires every ounce of strength and concentration.
It's more than I've done in a while. My mind is so used to just squatting down like a normal leg, so I have to mentally think every time I catch it to not. Watch out, Reef, it's a dangerous spot.
These workouts, integral to his healing, to finding a new normal. Lucas Arsenault, kiteboarding since he was 10 on Prince Edward Island, then going professional, traveling the globe, winning competitions, lived for the wind and water. That life upended 6 months ago. And you'd been there to that spot dozens of times?
More than dozens. I've surfed hundreds and hundreds of hours. It's at the exact same spot. Where the wave breaks, it's on the peak, is where everything happened.
It was supposed to be a quick trip to Turks and Caicos, where a group of them took a boat and went snorkeling a little more than a kilometer offshore, a place Arsenault had seen nurse sharks before, but nothing like what he encountered that day.
Got smoked in the ribs really hard, and I was like, the first thing that came up to my mind was like, I think a boat just hit me. But then I turned around and I saw the face of a shark on my ribs here, like nose pushing against me. And I was like, oh my God, that's a huge shark. And he just latches onto my knee, and I could feel, obviously it's just ripping skin, and the bite strength is so strong, I could hear bones shatter instantly. My leg was a cookie, right? It was just like shattering. I'm like, oh my God, 27, life's over, done. Like, there's no chance I'm getting out of this, right? And I'm punching it as hard as I can because my natural instinct is like, I need to get out of this. So what I did is I put my foot and my hand in his mouth too, my other leg, to try to pry it open, right? To get my leg out.
Your adrenaline's going.
Exactly, like you're not feeling any pain at this point, you're just rushing to try to do the best you can. Then he is still holding on, but brings me back up. So I'm like fighting it, running out of air, I'm dying, this is it. I come back up to the surface, and then I magically get another breath. And this is what really saved my life, is there was so much blood around that I couldn't see the shark. I couldn't see anything. And then all of a sudden he pulls me down again. So I'm going down for like round 2. I was able to see the shark clearly, and I saw the eyes. And that's what allowed me to get out, because I was able to poke his eyeballs. And then as soon as I made him uncomfortable, he let go. As I got pulled into the boat, that was rough because I had to look at my family and think that was my last moments.
His now fiancée, Jory McIsaac, quick to act, created a makeshift tourniquet from a rash guard to try and stop the bleeding.
It was traumatizing itself. In the water is where when he was in the water is where everyone felt the most helpless. When we had gotten him back on the boat, it was like you could do something.
Once at shore, Arsenault credits a miracle. A doctor just happened to be there with an oxygen tank and proper tourniquet, reassuring him he would live.
As soon as he gave me that confidence, my mind shifted from like, might die, to I'm not dying. Like, this wasn't an option to me anymore.
During a 9-hour surgery at a hospital on the island, doctors amputated his right leg above the knee and spent hours fixing nerve and tendon damage in his remaining limbs from trying to pry open the shark's mouth.
I remember opening my eyes and having fought for your life for so long, I could not move a finger. Like, I just had no energy to move any parts of my body. Just everything was consumed to the max.
Arsenault regained enough strength to be flown to a Toronto hospital before heading back to Prince Edward Island to continue his recovery. Through all this, supported by friends, family, the kiting community. How are you feeling considering that your life had changed?
I would, you'd be lying if you say it's all good. For sure, there's some dark times, and you go through waves of, realizations that, hey, I'll never do something this way again. Will I ever be able to drive again? How am I going to go to the bathroom at night if I found that I can't walk?
Well, considering kiteboarding was your job.
I knew my life had changed for professional, career-wise. I realized quickly that I shouldn't have survived that. Like, if we ran that back 100 times, I know I'm not going to make it 99. There's just too much that happened. And like, if you're going to face a 1,000-pound tiger shark and you come out as I came out, like you're pretty happy in the end, which is weird.
That mindset, key to Arsenault's recovery. First a wheelchair, then a walker. Finally, at 10 weeks, those first tentative steps.
At every step, it's been a milestone. Just having the wounds closed and going to take a shower was the best feeling of my life.
Hundreds of hours of rehab, slowly building his strength.
I can't get over how nice this feels.
Testing out what his body could do, and at times, pushing his limits. He gradually found a way to be active again.
Got the leg going here.
And just 3 months after the attack, a huge moment. What was the feeling like being back on the water?
Just gratitude, just happiness. You go through so many waves of emotions, and you kind of try to imagine yourself back on the board. And there was a point in time where I thought it would never happen again. This is the part that never quite feels normal.
This part?
Yeah.
Can you feel it?
No, just mentally.
Just a weird...
Part of his body now. It needs tune-ups, adjustments every few weeks.
I feel like it could make a difference.
That's a deadlift and not have it hang off. It does make a difference.
Especially for someone who has above average ambitions.
For Lucas, the goals are going to be like, how far can we get him back to his pre-life? Like, he's not going to be walking 10 steps. He probably wants to walk 10K.
So from walking to kiting, is that a normal rate of improvement?
It's exceptional. It's an exceptional story. And then so to observe it, like, I can't say if it's normal or not normal. No one else is kiting with that level of amputation in PEI, maybe even in Canada.
I had to cut my wetsuits to fit the leg in, stuff like that. So
bit by bit, he's adapting to this new reality. And recently, a trip back to Turks and Caicos to make peace and new memories.
It was, it's a little emotional to go back the first few days, but honestly, it was much better than anticipated.
That was probably pretty therapeutic in a way to
Very.
go back and close the loop in a way, right?
I didn't do something that I regret. I lived my life, went snorkeling. I still would have gone snorkeling that day. You'll never know what happened. I might not snorkel again for a little while or ever, but just there's no regrets. Nothing I would change. It's just what life threw at me for now.